Hi guys, nice to see you. I'm just going to do a quick video for people who get very stiff in the shoulders, stiff in the neck. I know when I used to work at home a lot of the time, especially on a laptop, I always found that I was sort of, having problems with my neck or my shoulders quite a lot of the time. So this is quite nice to do at lunchtime. It's not a particularly long video. You will need a couple of props. I would definitely recommend props. The best thing to do is get yourself, if you've got a yoga belt or anything like a resistance band, that's fine. If you don't have anything like that at home, get a pair of tights, or maybe even a belt, nothing with a particularly big buckle. I don't want you to hit yourself in the face with that, but to be honest, tights are the best thing in the world. Something with a bit of a stronger denier so that they don't rip. And another thing I'm going to use today is some blocks. Again, the blocks are optional. I don't expect people at home to have cork yoga blocks. If you don't, a stack of books, just make sure they're the right height either side. And we're going to do child pose halfway through where we take the arms up onto the blocks, onto some books if you want. So if you need to go in and get some equipment for this video, pause the video, go and get it now. And then I'm going to get started. Okay. So from here, we're just going to be in seated position, cross the legs if it's comfortable to do so. We're just going to start to roll those shoulders back away from the body. Finding some stillness. We're going to squeeze the shoulder blades up towards the ears and then release. And again, squeezing them up and release. One more time, squeezing the shoulder blades up and release. We're going to inhale, taking those arms up overhead. Exhale, bringing them down through heart center. And again, inhale, lift, taking the arms apart. And exhale, down through heart center. Inhale, taking those arms back up. As we exhale, we're going to reach forwards. We're going to place the hands down, take the elbows wide, and then dropping the head down towards the floor in front of you. Just relaxing the head, relaxing the back of the neck. We're going to inhale, lifting those arms back up. As we exhale, taking your right hand towards that left knee and then placing that left hand behind you. Now gently lifting nice and tall through the body and then leading with the chest, we're twisting to the left hand side. We're looking over that left shoulder. Inhale, facing forwards, taking those arms back up. Exhale, twisting to the opposite side. So left hand to right knee, place that right hand behind you and we're looking over that right shoulder. Inhale, lifting back up, facing forwards, and then exhale, taking the hands onto the knees. As we inhale, we're just going to lift the head, looking up to the ceiling. Exhale, taking the chin down to the chest. And again, inhale, lifting the head. Exhale, bringing the chin down to the chest. The next inhale, we're going to draw the shoulder blades together. So we're creeping the shoulder blades together behind you, lifting up through the chest, so pushing the chest forwards. Inhale, still looking up, draw the shoulder blades together. As we exhale, take the chin down. This time, move the hands to the front of the knees. Take the chin down, really push the shoulders out behind you. So think about a cat-cow position. So we're exhale, pushing the shoulders out. We're inhale, we're lifting up nice and tall through the body, drawing the shoulder blades together, looking up. Exhale, round, moving the hands to the front of the knees, pushing the shoulder blades up. We're going to work down now through the spine. So taking into account now the thoracic spine. So we're going to inhale, draw those shoulder blades together, looking up nice and tall. Exhale, really doming that back out now. You can lean back a little bit, take the chin down to the chest. And also I find it quite comfortable to actually lean back, take those hands onto the knees. Inhale, lifting back up, pushing the shoulders away. Exhale, round, last one. And then inhale, lifting back up into a neutral spine position. Now we're going to take hold of your tights or yoga belt or resistance band, taking it in front of you. We're just going to inhale, lifting those arms up. Exhale, bringing them down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Now, if you feel like going a little bit further as we inhale, lift, we can this time exhale, take the hands behind you. Now take them as far as you feel comfortable. We're trying to keep the arms as straight as possible. So if you need to open out your band or your tights, that's absolutely fine to do so. That's why I like using tights, because they've got a nice bit of resistance, but a little bit of give as well, especially in these, oh God, 40 denier I think I'm using. Gently coming back down. Well done, everybody. And we're just rotating the shoulders back and forth. Bringing them back forward. Last one, we're going to lift it back up. We're going to hold this position, and then we're gently going to lean over to the right hand side. Now I'm reaching the left arm up, and I'm going to allow that right arm to come down towards the mat. Gently bringing that arm up. We're going to swap sides. So I'm reaching up with the right hand, taking that left hand down. One more time either way, lifting back up. This time, if it feels comfortable to do so, you can drop down onto the right hand, even dropping down onto the forearm, and you can keep stretching over. You can wind that band or the tights up a little bit tighter as well, just getting that nice stretch down the right hand side, left hand side, sorry. And we're looking up underneath our left arm up to the ceiling, nice and gently, coming back up into a seated position, lifting those arms back up, taking that left hand down. And again, if it feels comfortable to do so, drop down onto that left arm. And we're looking up to the ceiling, underneath that right shoulder. I'm just going to increase that resistance. Feel that stretch all the way down the right hand side of the body. And then gently release, taking the band to the side, rolling those shoulders back. And then making your way into a tabletop position. So we're coming onto our hands and our knees. Hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees are stacked underneath the hips. Now from here, we're going to do our cat-cow. So as you inhale, lifting up through the tailbone, pushing the chest forwards, but push the shoulders away from you. So we're opening up through the chest as we inhale. Really push that chest forwards. As we exhale, taking the chin down to the chest, really pushing the shoulder blades up, tucking the tailbone under. Inhale, lift. Exhale, around. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Taking the knees a little bit wider. So you want to take the knees to the width of your mat. And we're going to sink back down onto the heels. So we're going into your child pose, Balasana. Now walk the hands forward, and we're just resting down onto the mat. Now if this isn't comfortable for you, you can use a pillow or something. Rest onto the pillow with your chest or blocks. What I want you to make sure you're doing is that your bum is going back towards the heels. Careful if you're resting on something you don't lift up, and we don't go into our puppy pose. We're working on child pose. We're pushing those arms forward. And if the forehead is down, we're gently going to rock the head from left to right. And then staying in your child pose, we're going to reach the hands forwards. We're going to lift up onto your fingertips. And then from here, we're going to slide that right hand underneath that left arm. So we're sliding that right hand underneath that left arm. We're still up on the fingertips of the left hand, and we're going to walk that left hand over to the front right hand side of your mat. Push this right hand down and gently looking up to the ceiling under that left arm. Again, just take this as far as you feel comfortable. Inhale through the nose. As you exhale, gently release. Take that left hand back over to the left hand side of your mat, pushing through those fingertips, reaching forwards with your right hand. We're going to swap sides, so taking that left hand now underneath that right arm, taking the left ear down onto the mat, reaching forwards with that right hand. We're going to walk the right fingertips over to the left hand side of the mat. Feel that right shoulder roll back. Push that left hand down into the floor, looking underneath that right arm up. Bringing that right hand back into the right hand side of your mat, pushing down through the right hand. And we're going to lift back up into a tabletop position. Maybe even gently rocking the knees, rocking those hips, from left to right. Nice, everybody. Okay, from here, tuck those toes under. We're going to make our way up into a downward facing dog. Now in a downward facing dog, we're lifting up through the tailbone. We're pushing the head towards the knees to get a nice stretch across those shoulders. We're going to inhale through the nose. We're going to exhale, lifting that right leg back up. Inhale through the nose. As we exhale, step that right leg down in between the hands. We're going to bring that left leg to join it. And we're going to keep the head down towards the knees, maybe gently rocking the head from left to right. We're going to soften the knees. Inhale, coming all the way up into a standing position, taking the arms all the way up overhead, looking up to the hands. Exhale down through heart center. We're going to inhale, lifting those arms up. We're going to take your right hand onto that left wrist. We're going to gently lean over to the right hand side. Bringing it back into the center, swapping sides, so holding onto the right wrist with the left hand, leaning over to the left. Bringing it back into the center, and then just taking those arms out nice and wide. Nice, everybody. Now the option here is to either hold on to the hands, or if you want to, you can hold on to your tights or yoga mat. Take the hands out behind you. My tights have got a bit skewy. So bringing the arms down behind you. We're going to inhale through the nose, lifting up through the chest as we exhale. Going back into an Uttanasana, bringing those arms forward. Maybe even gently rocking from left to right. You can bend into one leg at a time and dropping those arms over. So if I'm bending the right leg, taking the right hand down and I'm looking underneath that left shoulder. And then if I'm bending that left leg, I'm looking underneath that right, gently straightening body back up. Inhale through the nose as you exhale, softening the knees, coming all the way back up into a standing position. We're going to take those arms back overhead, holding onto the belt if you want to, and then gently leaning over to the right hand side again. Lifting back up to the center, leaning down to the left, lifting back up to the center. We're going to release that, so just taking it down to the side. I'm going to inhale, looking up, exhale, back into a forward fold position. I'm going to take the hands down and I'm going to step back into a plank position. Inhale through the nose as I exhale, dropping the knees down into tabletop. Now in your tabletop, keeping the right hand down, we're going to inhale, taking that left arm up. As we exhale, we're going to go into thread the needle. So going back down onto that left ear this time. So taking now this left arm underneath that right, we're coming down onto your left ear. Keep the bum lifted, so keep the tailbone lifted up, reaching forwards with your right hand. And we're looking underneath that right arm. Keep that head down, so keep the left ear down. If you want to go a bit further into this, lifting that right arm up to the ceiling, we're bending your right elbow. We're trying to get your fingertips in by your left thigh. Roll that right shoulder back. Releasing that right arm back up, placing it back down onto your mat, pushing down through the right hand. So back into tabletop, swapping sides this time. So this time I'm going to inhale, lifting that right arm up to the ceiling, looking up to the hand. As we exhale, taking that right arm down underneath that left arm, coming down onto the right hand side of my face, reaching forwards with that left arm. We're lifting that tailbone back up. From here, I'm going to lift that left arm back up to the ceiling, bending the elbow, and I'm going to try and place my fingertips over by that right thigh, rolling that left shoulder back and looking up to the ceiling. Releasing that left arm back up, inhale through the nose, exhale, placing that hand back down onto your mat. We're back into a tabletop position. Now take those knees wider again. If you've got blocks or books or anything like that that you want to use, I would definitely recommend it. And we're going to place them down onto your mat. Now this is going to be for your arms. Now there's a couple of options I want to show you. The first option is I get quite a lot of tension across the back of my neck. So I think it comes from sleeping in a funny position. Walk the hands forward, keep the heels or keep your bottom by the heels, and then we're going to drop the head down. So you get a much deeper stretch into that, especially if you want to add a little bit of a roll from left to right, rolling across the forehead, which feels lovely. If you want a slightly different stretch to this one, bring the books or the blocks a little bit closer together. We're going to place those elbows down onto the mat, onto the block, sorry. Bring the hands into heart center, and you can just take the hands behind you, dropping the head down in between the blocks, dropping the head down. So either option is absolutely lovely. Stretch. This one, you get a nice stretch across the back of the arms as well. And you can hold this for as long as you want to. I'm just going to start to come out of this, straighten the arms down, lifting the head back up, making my way back up into a tabletop position. I'm going to come back to those blocks in a minute. I'm going to go into a downward facing dog, so just lifting up through the tailbone, just bending out or pedaling out those legs. And just shaking the head, making sure you're not holding any tension in the neck. And then looking forwards to the hands. You can either step, hop, or jump through to the hands. And we're going to come down into a seated position. Now from here, what I want you to do is just take the arms down overhead. We're just reaching up nice and tightly, reaching forwards. And we're going to hug the shoulders up towards the ears again. So hugging the shoulders up and then release. And again, hugging the shoulders up and release. One more time, hugging the shoulders up towards the ears and release. Taking the hands onto the knees and then taking your time to come back up into a seated position. Now, one little stretch we'll show you towards the end. I love this stretch, especially in classes when we've got some props. It's Matsyendrasana, so fish pose, which you may have done before. Fish pose normally doesn't have any props, but to be honest, I prefer to use them. I feel like you get a little bit more in a relaxed position. So what I want you to do is take a block or a bolster pillow or anything. We're just going to need one. If you don't have these at home, you may have something like this, like a foam block. Try and use something that's going to be a little bit more comfortable than books or anything like that. And you're going to place it at the top part of your mat. Now your thoracic spine is going to go onto it, so you're going to end up laying on the block here right onto the spine. So I'm going to place my block down. I'm going to start off with my legs bent, and I'm going to control coming down onto the forearms. I'm going to place the hands by my bottom, so the fingertips facing towards my bum, hands are facing down. Now once I can feel where the block needs to be, which is just basically above your bra line. Sorry gents, but I'm pretty sure you can work that out. We're going to lean back onto the block and relax the head down. Now, depending on how you feel here, if this is too intense to have that neck dropped back, place another block in a T shape above the head. So we've got the blocks like this, okay? So resting down onto that block and then dropping the head down onto the block above. So fish pose. Now you should feel the shoulders dropping to the side. So because we've got the block on the spine, we're allowing the shoulders to drop to the side. Now depending on how you feel here, you can bring the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to drop open. If you want a little bit more extension across the chest, take the arms up and overhead. And again, we're just relaxing the shoulders down off the side. And this is a lovely pose to end any sort of yoga practice, any sort of workout, especially if you are working at a desk. It's really important to just stretch the shoulders out, feel the openness through the body, feel the openness through the heart chakra. And you can stay in this for as long as possible. Well, as long as you can before you need to go back to work. When you are ready to come out of it, if you've got the legs wide, slowly bring the legs together. And we're going to bring the arms down the side of the body to support ourselves coming out of this. So make sure the elbows are down, make sure the hands, forearms are down. And we're going to gently bring the chin towards the chest, making your way up onto the hands, up onto the forearms. Maybe giving yourself a little counter stretch, lifting up nice and tall through the chest. Inhale through the nose and then exhale round. And then coming back into a cross-legged position, taking the hands onto the knees. We're going to inhale, lifting back up through the chest, drawing the shoulder blades together. Exhale round, taking the chin down towards the chest, really doming out the back. Inhale, lift, looking back up. Exhale round. Inhale, lift. And exhale into a neutral spine position. We're going to inhale, taking those arms up. Exhale down through heart center. We're going to close down the eyes. We're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose. We're going to exhale through the mouth, so in through the nose, out through the mouth, and again in through the nose, out through the mouth. Last one, in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, And as we exhale, gently bowing forwards to one another. Namaste, everybody.